Nature rarely stops abruptly, yet this signal ended with surgical precision. Imagine a metronome ticking perfectly, then halting mid-beat without warning.
No known celestial object behaves with such clean, deliberate interruption.
The control room fell silent as the pulse vanished instantly.
We checked every instrument, but nothing was malfunctioning.
Natural signals drift gently, yet this one showed absolute control.
It felt engineered, not like something born from stars.
The interruption came in the exact center of the cycle.
Timing that precise suggests intent, not coincidence.
It made us wonder who or what was on the other end.
The signal behaved like a transmitter designed with purpose.
Have you ever paused a song at the most dramatic note?
That's how abruptly this cosmic message stopped.
We ruled out satellites, interference, even atmospheric tricks.
Everything pointed to something beyond our usual explanations. The precision gave us chills, like someone demonstrating control.
Signals from nature wobble, but this one stayed razor steady. It felt like a tap on the shoulder from somewhere far away. If it was natural, it defied every pattern we recognize.
The silence that followed was almost louder than the signal.
It made us question whether we were truly alone.
What stops mid-pulse without fading first?
We had no evidence of malfunction, only mystery.
Imagine a lighthouse blinking steadily, then vanishing mid-flash.
That kind of precision feels intentional, not random.
Some interruptions whisper chaos. This one whispered purpose.
Even seasoned researchers froze, unsure what to conclude.
If someone wanted our attention, this was a clever way.
The universe rarely behaves like a machine, but this did.
We weren't prepared for such a clean, mathematical stop.
Signals breathe, this one did not.
The break felt like a boundary, a line drawn in silence.
It made us wonder, was this a message or a test?
Mid-cycle termination is nearly impossible without control. No drift, no decay, just an instant end.
It reminded me of someone demonstrating capability quietly.
We searched for interference but found none.
The event forced us to confront the unknown carefully.
I've seen strange signals, but never one so clean.
It was as if the universe blinked intentionally.
Could this be natural, or was someone trying to speak?
The interruption challenged our assumptions about deep space.
Most phenomena fade gently. This ended like a command.
Part of me wondered if it awaited a response.
We replayed the data hundreds of times in disbelief.
Nothing about the cut resembled known physics.
If there was intent, it was subtle yet unmistakable.
What force can stop energy so abruptly? The universe seemed to hold its breath for a moment.
Some mysteries demand humility more than answers.
Could we be witnessing technology far beyond our own?
The precision felt almost like a signature.
Natural signals don't switch off like a machine.
It raised the question, are we truly the only listeners? The universe sometimes reveals itself in subtle ways.
This interruption felt like one of those rare moments.
We weren't sure what we found, only that it mattered. Whatever caused the cutoff knew timing better than nature.
We approached the mystery with caution and curiosity.
The signal's abrupt ending felt crafted.
Its precision challenged everything we expected from space.
Even today, that moment stays with me.
The cosmos remains quiet, yet never truly silent. Perhaps the interruption was more than a glitch.
Maybe it was someone asking if we were listening.
Atlas didn't behave like a natural visitor drifting through our solar system.
Its structure appeared strangely hollow, lighter than any comet we have ever studied.
Imagine a boulder the size of a building, but weighing almost nothing.
That density made us question everything we knew about interstellar objects.
Natural comets don't have empty cores, but Atlas seemed different. It was the first sign that something about Atlas wasn't organic.
Then came the motion. Atlas slowed down near the sun. Nothing falling toward the sun should ever slow down.
It was as if Atlas tapped the brakes in open space. Only controlled propulsion can produce deceleration like this. Gravity is a downhill slope. Atlas climbed it backwards.
Some argued solar pressure caused it, but the math didn't fit.
Atlas behaved like something guiding itself intentionally. Then we saw its orbit, almost too perfect to be random.
Interstellar objects usually tumble into our system at odd angles.
But Atlas slipped neatly into the ecliptic, like it knew the layout.
It aligned almost as precisely as a spacecraft entering a flight corridor.
Precision like that doesn't happen by cosmic accident.
Even seasoned astronomers paused when they saw the alignment.
3 anomalies emerged: its structure, its speed, and its orbit.
Any one of these is rare. All 3 together are unheard of. It felt like Atlas was pretending to be natural, but not convincingly. Maybe it wasn't a rock at all, but something designed.
Could an ancient probe disguise itself as a drifting object?
Some theories suggested Atlas was a long-range scout. Others thought it might be a relic from a forgotten civilization. Its hollow shell hinted at compartments or internal machinery.
That emptiness troubled us more than its appearance.
The sun should have pulled Atlas faster, but it resisted.
Something was counteracting gravity with remarkable precision.
What force can slow an object without leaving a visible trail?
It wasn't tumbling chaotically like most interstellar fragments.
Instead, it rotated smoothly, like a balanced instrument.
Its behavior felt intentional, almost cautious.
A team of Caucasian male scientists proposed exotic forces, but none explained everything. Every new data set pushed us further from natural explanations.
Atlas wasn't following nature's script. What if we weren't watching a comet, but a machine? A probe could be designed to mimic debris, easy to overlook.
Atlas had the subtlety of something built to avoid detection.
Even its deceleration felt like a controlled maneuver.
A natural object can't plan, but Atlas moved with purpose. If someone engineered it, they built it to last millennia.
Its shell seemed protective, not geological. Why would something hollow drift between the stars?
unless that emptiness once held instruments or payloads.
The more we studied it, the less it resembled nature. Atlas challenged our assumptions about visitors from deep space.
It made us rethink what interstellar travel might look like.
What if advanced probes are designed to appear unremarkable?
Maybe we've overlooked objects like this before.
Atlas forced us to see the universe with new eyes. Natural or not, Atlas felt like a message waiting to be understood. The leaked file revealed an image none of us expected to see. Atlas looked natural on the outside, but its interior told a different story. Imagine a comet cracking open to show polished metal panels inside.
Nature doesn't create perfectly smooth surfaces in deep space.
The image showed symmetry too precise to be geological. It resembled engineering, not erosion or cosmic wear. Some shapes inside appeared almost manufactured.
Could see the kind of precision natural forces rarely achieve.
The file lasted only seconds, but it changed everything.
What we saw didn't resemble ice, dust, or compressed minerals.
It looked more like a device than a drifting interstellar body.
The metal wasn't rando. It had curves that felt intentional.
Natural objects don't hide polished surfaces under broken crusts. The clean geometry hinted at design, not coincidence.
Atlas seemed engineered for durability across unimaginable distances. Some shapes looked like panels locked into place.
It reminded us of spacecraft architecture we use around Earth.
The timing of the leak made the image even more unsettling.
The file appeared exactly when Atlas slipped out of sight.
It felt almost like a parting snapshot before it vanished.
What kind of object reveals its interior only at the last moment?
The image didn't show damage, it showed intact construction.
No cracks, no fractures, just seamless surfaces.
Whatever Atlas was, its interior wasn't shaped by nature.
It made us wonder whether the rocky shell was only camouflage.
If it was a probe, its design was subtle and deliberate. Atlas looked like something built to survive centuries of travel.
The image carried the quiet confidence of advanced engineering.
It felt like finding a machine disguised as a comet.
The interior didn't match any known natural formation.
Some curves inside were almost mathematically perfect. That level of symmetry doesn't come from chance. The more we studied the frame, the more artificial it looked. It was like uncovering a blueprint buried inside a comet.
Nature rarely produces right angles. Atlas had several.
Something inside Atlas was built with intention.
This wasn't chaotic geology. It was controlled design.
The leak showed a module that looked functional, not accidental.
You could feel the weight of intelligence behind the structure.
It made us rethink what interstellar probes might look like.
Perhaps advanced technology hides inside simple forms. The metal reflected light like no mineral we've catalogued.
It resembled alloys used in spacecraft, but far more refined.
No natural force crafts structures with that precision.
The interior felt purposeful, almost like a protected chamber.
It seemed Atlas was never meant to reveal this side of itself. The leak felt like catching a brief glimpse behind a mask.
If the image was real, Atlas was more than a visitor.
It was evidence of a machine crossing interstellar space.
What kind of civilization builds something to survive this far?
The frame felt like a technological fingerprint left behind.
It raised a question no dataset had answered before.
Are we sure we know what interstellar objects really are?
The image carried a quiet message, hidden in its symmetry. Atlas looked engineered, intentional, and deeply mysterious.
We weren't just observing a rock. We were witnessing design. The last wave file changed how we look at deep space objects.
Some believed the leak was accidental. Others weren't so sure.
When the frame ended, the room fell silent. Natural or not, Atlas revealed a truth we can't ignore.
It looked like the work of minds, far beyond our own.
The last wave might be humanity's first look at non-human engineering. If this wasn't nature's work, it changes everything we thought we knew.
Atlas vanished behind the sun, yet its heartbeat came from near us. The signature was identical to Atlas, unmistakable and precise.
Instead of deep space, the signal hovered in Earth's backyard.
Scientists expected silence, but got a whisper from above.
It was the same frequency, the same pattern, nothing altered.
Signals don't migrate like that without intention.
Something was transmitting, as if Atlas had never left.
How could an interstellar visitor reappear so close to home?
Echoes distort, but this signal was razor sharp.
It behaved like a satellite, but none matched the signature. The timing was uncanny, almost as if rehearsed.
Atlas was supposed to be millions of miles away. Yet something circled Earth with Atlas's voice.
Some believed a smaller unit detached before Atlas vanished.
If so, why did it head straight for our world?
Signal wrapped around Earth every 4 to 7 minutes.
That orbit wasn't random. It was stable and deliberate.
Atlas might have deployed something we never saw. Or maybe Atlas changed its path entirely.
Natural objects don't jump or reposition with such precision.
You could feel the room freeze when the data appeared.
It was as if Atlas tapped us on the shoulder.
The sun should have hidden it, but something emerged instead.
This wasn't reflection. Reflections don't stay coherent.
Whatever it was, it moved with purpose.
If Atlas transformed, this was its next form speaking back.
The signal looked alive, responding to no known physics. It circled Earth like a quiet visitor, observing us. Perhaps Atlas didn't disappear. It relocated.
The timing was too aligned to ignore.
If a probe arrived, it chose Earth deliberately.
The energy pattern was unmistakably engineered.
It felt like we were being watched, not contacted.
Its orbit mirrored the rhythm we saw in deep space.
Atlas's voice now traveled the same route our satellites take.
Nothing about this matched natural behavior.
The return wasn't noise. It was intention.
The signal moved like it belonged here.
This was no stray echo drifting on solar wind.
It felt more like a reconnection than a reappearance.
Whatever circled Earth, it carried Atlas's signature.
You don't expect an interstellar object to orbit your planet. Yet there it was, steady and unshaken. Atlas had gone silent, but its echo found us.
Something learned our position and circled back.
The pulse rhythm was identical, almost too identical. It was as if a copy of Atlas was flying overhead.
Or perhaps the original simply shed its disguise.
Machines are built to adapt. Natural rocks are not.
Something about the signal felt newly awakened.
This wasn't a comet anymore. It was a machine speaking.
The orbiting transmitter acted almost like a scout. It circled us with the patience of observation.
Atlas may have been the traveler, but this was the visitor.
Its message wasn't clear, but its presence was undeniable.
If it meant to reveal itself, this was the first step.
The signal's return told us the story wasn't over.
Atlas left deep space, but something stayed with us.
The universe rarely gives second chances to hear a message.
Hydrogen is the universe's simplest atom, yet its message was profound.
Every civilization would recognize hydrogen's cosmic fingerprint. Imagine the universe choosing one common channel for communication. Atlas spoke on that channel with flawless precision.
This wasn't random. It was a deliberate cosmic tap on the shoulder.
Natural emissions drift, but this signal held perfectly still.
Hydrogen's line is quiet, like a cosmic whispering chamber.
Into that silence, Atlas placed its first calling card.
The signal was pure, distinct, impossible to overlook.
Hydrogen is the universe's alphabet. Atlas used its first.
If you wanted to be heard, this is where you'd speak.
Atlas chose the one channel all scientists monitor.
No known object emits such exact timing on this line.
11-second intervals, repeated with machine-like discipline.
Hydrogen makes up most of the universe. Its signal is universal.
It's the closest thing we have to a shared cosmic language.
That's why the signal felt like a deliberate greeting.
This frequency isn't cluttered, it's intentionally quiet.
If someone wanted attention, this would be their doorway.
Hydrogen's signal is unmistakable, even to beginners. Atlas used it with a confidence that felt intelligent.
Practically zero, unless it was meant to happen.
Some thought it was a message, others thought it was a test.
Hydrogen emissions mark presence. Atlas used them like a signature.
Think of it as the universe's default broadcast channel.
You don't trip into hydrogen by accident.
Something wanted to be seen and heard clearly.
When the signal appeared, no one questioned its significance.
Hydrogen connects stars, galaxies, and now, perhaps us.
It is the universe's simplest handshake.
Atlas didn't choose a complex code. It chose clarity.
The message wasn't loud. It was unmistakable.
For scientists, hydrogen is the first thing you learn to watch.
That was why Atlas felt like it knew exactly where we were listening.
The precision felt almost like intention.
Hydrogen isn't a random choice. It's a universal invitation.
What if Atlas wanted to start with the simplest word? Nature speaks chaotically. This signal felt composed.
Atlas chose the one place. No noise could hide it.
Hydrogen makes the cosmos readable. Atlas used it like a pen.
Signal aligned perfectly with no drift or wobble. That kind of accuracy doesn't happen without purpose.
Hydrogen was the doorway. Atlas stepped through it.
The universe rarely hands us such clean clues. It felt like the first line of a larger message.
Hydrogen isn't just common, it's symbolic.
Using it means you want to be understood.
Atlas wasn't shouting into the void. It was calling us.
It was simple, elegant, and impossible to ignore.
Hydrogen. Let Atlas speak the universe's first language.
The message wasn't long, just perfectly placed.
That placement told us more than words ever could.
Something out there knew how to say hello.
The universe listens at hydrogen, and Atlas spoke first.
The silence began the moment the screens turned to RE-stricted.
Every major space agency stopped talking at the same time. Scientists noticed the silence long before the public did. This wasn't technical failure. It was deliberate. Discovery protocol activated, and everything changed.
Imagine your radio turning off the moment the important part begins.
The protocol demanded total quiet for at least 72 hours.
But this silence stretched far longer than anyone expected.
You could feel fear settling into every room.
This wasn't caution. It was anxiety wearing a scientific mask.
Normally, data flows every minute. Suddenly, it froze.
They are listening. Speak softly.
The numbers don't add up.
We have to proceed regardless.
Something about the signal scared them into silence.
Discovery protocol isn't about science. It's about control.
It was written after Oumuamua to manage uncertainty.
But now it was being used out of fear, not policy.
I'm getting a signal, but it's heavily distorted. I can't explain it.
Is it a threat?
They didn't want panic, but they feared being wrong even more.
Silence is rarely the sign of confidence.
When scientists fall quiet, they're struggling with the truth.
The protocol demanded secrecy, not understanding.
No updates, no briefings, just blank screens everywhere.
Even routine space weather reports stopped abruptly. It felt like watching the world hold its breath.
Agencies weren't confused, they were overwhelmed.
The signal was too precise to dismiss.
Fear crept into decision-making where science should lead. The longer the silence lasted, the more questions grew.
Something unprecedented had arrived, and nobody wanted to say it.
Scientists aren't trained for silence. They're trained for answers.
Discovery protocol demanded the opposite of curiosity.
This wasn't how science behaves. It's how fear behaves.
The signal challenged everything they thought they knew.
Silence became their shield, even as data piled higher.
Agencies feared saying something before understanding it.
But waiting for perfect certainty means waiting forever.
Protocol froze progress instead of guiding it.
Some called the silence responsible. Others called it cowardice. In truth, it revealed how unprepared humanity is for the unknown.
They didn't know whether to protect the public or themselves.
The data kept coming, even if no one talked about it.
The signal evolved. The agencies did not.
Imagine knowing something world-changing, but being told to wait.
The protocol wasn't built for contact, just containment.
Fear drove the silence more than any scientific principle.
This wasn't a pause. It was paralysis.
Discovery protocol created a cage for information.
Meanwhile, the signal kept pulsing, indifferent to politics.
Scientists watched, helpless, as days passed without answers.
The universe doesn't wait for committees.
The silence made the mystery deeper, not safer.
Fear smothers curiosity faster than uncertainty ever could.
Real science doesn't hide, it confronts.
Eventually, silence becomes its own kind of message.
The protocol tried to control the narrative, but lost control instead.
By the time agencies were ready to speak, the world had moved on.
The truth is, silence is louder than any anomaly.
And in those days of quiet, fear spoke more clearly than any signal.
The Atlas signal looked simple at first glance.
But beneath that clean pulse hid something deeper.
Our models revealed structure inside the structure.
Imagine a signal that folds into itself like origami.
The 11-second pulse wasn't just a pulse. It was a container. Each micro shift carried its own packet of meaning. It felt like decoding a message wrapped inside another.
Think of it as a library condensed to a heartbeat.
Natural phenomena don't embed information like this.
Something engineered these layers intentionally.
Every harmonic revealed another hidden structure.
The more we decoded, the more appeared.
It was like peeling an onion with endless layers. Even tiny amplitude shifts contained data. This wasn't noise, it was design.
Imagine opening a file that contains more files inside.
"11 seconds shouldn't hold this much information."
The signal behaved like advanced compression. Every decoding step unlocked a knee level.
Some layers repeated like a synchronized rhythm. Others shifted unpredictably, forming hidden patterns.
It was as if the signal tested our ability to follow.
Who sends a message that requires solving?
Maybe Atlas wasn't greeting us. It was evaluating us.
Imagine a civilization measuring intelligence through data compression.
If that's true, this was the first question in their exam.
Each decoded layer hinted at deeper intention.
We weren't listening to a signal, we were navigating it.
Data seemed infinite, as if depth had no end.
Nothing about it felt accidental.
The signal grew more complex the deeper we went.
It resembled a vault of knowledge, not a beacon.
Some pulses resembled maps. Others felt like instructions. But none were obvious. They required interpretation.
The precision suggested technological mastery. Even the silence between pulses carried meaning.
Nature doesn't do layered encoding. Intelligence does.
We realized Atlas wasn't sending a signal. It was teaching.
Or testing whether we could learn at all.
"11 seconds suddenly felt enormous. The message behaved like a puzzle box.
Each harmonic carried its own personality. It was as if multiple messages played at once.
Some layers were steady, others chaotic.
Complexity rose with elegant precision. This wasn't Earth's beginner transmission.
Whoever built it understood information at scale.
We wondered if this structure was intentional training.
Or maybe it was meant only for those who could unlock it.
Signals like this don't appear naturally anywhere.
It challenged our decoding tools to their limits.
But every breakthrough revealed even more depth. 11 seconds shouldn't behave like a compressed archive.
Yet Atlas proved that assumption wrong.
The signal wanted to be solved, not heard.
We weren't just observers, we were participants. Atlas changed how we think about extraterrestrial contact.
Data became the new language of communication.
And the question wasn't what the message said.
The real question was who it was meant for.
If we can't decode every layer,
the coordinates first looked random until we mapped them globally.
Only from orbit did the pattern reveal itself.
The points curved into a vast planetary spiral.
You could never see this from the ground.
Atlas wasn't marking locations, it was drawing structure. Each point aligned with mathematical precision. Natural randomness doesn't produce a perfect spiral.
Something intelligent placed those coordinates deliberately.
Imagine discovering a map only visible from space.
No civilization maps a world from its surface like this.
Spirals appear everywhere in nature. Why here?
Coordinates curved like a galactic fingerprint.
It felt less like a map, more now a signature. Some points fell in oceans, others in frozen deserts.
They weren't guiding us to places, they were showing patterns.
The spiral stretched across thousands of miles.
You'd miss everything unless you stepped back far enough.
It suggested a perspective humanity rarely uses.
Maybe the message was never meant for ground observers.
The spiral didn't sit still. It shifted subtly over days.
It felt like the planet itself was being scanned.
Each coordinate traced Earth's changing energy fields.
This wasn't a treasure map. It was measurement.
Atlas may have been observing Earth's deeper systems.
Imagine mapping an entire world from high orbit. The spiral resembled a planetary heartbeat.
Nothing about the layout felt accidental.
It echoed patterns seen in hurricanes and galaxies.
Nice, that coordinate makes sense from sense from space.
Maybe the sender assumed we were orbit capable.
Or maybe the map wasn't meant for us at all.
Each point had unique magnetic or geological traits.
The spiral-connected phenomena we never linked before. Some coordinates sat atop unexplained magnetic zones.
Others matched ancient impact scars.
Pattern stitched Earth's mysteries into a whole.
A team of South Asian scientists debated whether it indicated stress points.
Or maybe it tracked shifts in Earth's electromagnetic shell.
Elegance suggested something observing from above.
The coordinates behaved like a planetary diagnostic tool. Imagine Earth being examined like a medical scan.
This map didn't show location, it showed condition.
Spirals often trace energy flows in natural systems.
Maybe Atlas was studying Earth, not guiding us. A spiral is the universe's way of organizing complexity. And Atlas seemed to reflect that universal logic.
But why reveal it through hidden coordinates?
Perhaps to test if we could see the bigger picture.
Humans rarely step far enough back to understand Earth.
The map demanded distance, both physical and intellectual.
The deeper we analyzed, the more intentional it looked.
It was less a warning and more an invitation.
The structure felt old, precise, and purposeful. It was as if someone charted Earth long before us.
The map asked us to think like an outsider.
Imagine seeing Earth not as home, but as a specimen.
The spiral held no answers, only direction.
It suggested observation, not intervention.
If this was a message, it challenged our perspective.
Understanding required seeing Earth from space, literally.
Maybe the spiral shows what we fail to notice daily.
The pattern exists only for those who step back. Atlas taught us something simple, yet profound. To understand your world, sometimes you must leave it.
Atlas wasn't the first visitor. We discovered others before it.
The pattern began with a strange object in 1957. Back then, we didn't understand what we were seeing.
The second visitor came exactly 23 years later. In 1980, the anomaly appeared, then vanished instantly. Another arrived in 2003, following the same trajectory.
These events formed a clock-like pattern every 23 years.
Nature doesn't keep appointments, but these objects do.
All of them came from the same point in the sky.
Lyra, home of the bright star Vega, became our focus.
The direction wasn't random. It was consistent. Something about Lyra keeps sending visitors our way. No natural object behaves with such regular timing.
The 1957 object arrived the year we launched Sputnik.
Was that coincidence? Or something noticing us?
Every 23-year arrival looked eerily similar to Atlas. The idea of a repeating interstellar route emerged. Imagine probes following a fixed cosmic highway.
The consistency suggests design, not accident. Lyra's direction became our breadcrumb trail.
The recurrence raised an unsettling possibility. What if Atlas is part of a fleet, not a lone wanderer?
The past events were missed because we lacked the tools. Now, with better technology, the pattern is undeniable.
The 1980 signal was dismissed as interference.
But its signature perfectly matches Atlas today. In 2003, we captured a slow-moving anomaly. Slow movement means propulsion, not gravity.
Cycle reveals a patient, deliberate timetable.
Whoever or whatever is behind this thinks long-term. The 23-year rhythm suggests communication, not chance. Lyra might be the origin, or simply the direction. Vega's position makes it an ideal navigational anchor.
Probes could use it the way sailors use Polaris.
Every visitor approached on nearly the same vector.
It felt like watching decades of footprints appear. A cosmic traveler leaves patterns, not randomness. Atlas simply revealed what had been happening for years.
We realized the story didn't begin with Atlas.
It began long before most of us were even born.
These visitors may belong to a centuries-old mission.
Or automated explorers mapping multiple star systems.
Their timing is too precise for natural origins.
Lyra's repeating path hints at a distant source.
Probes could be passing through our system on rotation.
Each cycle might update a long-term survey. Or they could be listening to us from afar.
The 23-year interval could be their operating routine.
If so, Atlas was never meant to be an anomaly.
It was simply the first one we truly noticed.
Data points formed a timeline of hidden visits.
We are only now seeing the bigger picture. The visitors from Lyra have been coming for decades.
And their next scheduled arrival is predictable.
The cycle suggests something or someone is keeping watch.
If the pattern holds, 2049 won't be quiet.
The question isn't whether they return.
The question is what they want on their next pass.
Atlas may be one chapter in a much larger story.
And the timeline hints that the story isn't finished.
Some scientists believe Earth has been observed for generations.
The Atlas pattern resembles a long-term survey routine.
Imagine a probe passing Earth without ever stopping.
These visitors never interact. They only observe.
The 23-year rhythm hints at scheduled monitoring.
A real survey doesn't announce itself. It watches quietly.
Each pass studies Earth like a patient reading.
Picture Earth being scanned like a medical image.
Atlas fits perfectly into this silent pattern. They come, gather data, and leave without a trace.
That behavior mirrors how we explore other planets.
We send rovers expecting no reply from the surface.
If we survey others, why couldn't someone survey us?
The cycle began long before modern astronomy. In 1957, the first visitor passed unnoticed.
Technology then was too primitive to detect intentions.
Today, Atlas finally revealed the pattern.
Continuous observation suggests deliberate curiosity.
We study Earth without interfering in any way. Like us, they may prefer non-contact exploration.
Their silence may be a sign of respect or caution.
Surveys track change, not conversation.
Earth's oxygen-rich atmosphere makes it interesting. Any advanced civilization would monitor such a planet.
Life itself is a rare cosmic signature worth studying.
We do the same with Europa, Titan, and Mars. Atlas behaves like our Voyager, but aimed at us. A long-term survey doesn't need to reveal itself. It only needs to ensure the data keeps flowing.
Each visit may update a multi-generation archive.
This could be a study spanning centuries.
Or longer, perhaps millennia of patient observation.
Atlas isn't a threat, it's a measurement.
The lack of contact might be intentional restraint.
They watch us as we watch other worlds. Imagine Earth being cataloged in a cosmic library.
A survey mission wouldn't disturb its subject.
That subtlety is the hallmark of scientific study.
If the survey is real, it began before we were born. And it may continue long after we are gone. The observers may be older than human civilization. Their patience implies extraordinary longevity.
Surveys require endurance, not haste.
Each pass is a quiet update on Earth's condition.
They might track climate, magnetism, or life itself.
Nothing suggests aggression, only curiosity.
Silence can be a form of respect.
Or a universal rule: observe, don't interfere.
Visitors' restraint mirrors our best scientific ethics.
If this is surveillance, it's a gentle version.
They seem interested in our planet, not our politics.
Observers often care more about ecosystems than species.
A multi-generation mission suggests collective purpose.
Such missions require planning beyond a single lifetime. We may be part of a study older than modern science.
The question is not whether we're being watched.
The real question is why the watchers remain silent.
Atlas may be just another chapter in an ongoing survey. And the survey might continue long after our era ends.
Scientists noticed Atlas altering its signal as humanity paid attention.
The signal changed exactly when global observatories locked in.
It felt like Atlas was listening to us, listening to it.
The first hydrogen tone was steady and universal. Then the rhythm shifted, as if responding to scrutiny.
Natural objects don't change behavior because we observe them.
Atlas behaved like something aware of being watched.
Reacted only when many nations observed together.
One station alone caused nothing to change.
But the world united triggered a clear shift.
That timing was too precise to ignore.
The signal seemed to test our scientific awareness. It was as if Atlas asked, "Are you paying attention?"
This felt less like noise and more like feedback.
Adaptive modulation hints at purposeful design.
Imagine tapping a wall and hearing the echo shift back. That's the closest analogy to Atlas's behavior. When our focus increased, the signal evolved instantly.
It wasn't stronger, just more structured.
That kind of response implies awareness of observers. Even skeptical scientists admitted the coincidence was impossible.
Something was reacting to coordinated human activity.
It watched our cooperation as closely as we watched its pulse.
The change wasn't emotional. It was analytical.
Atlas may have been measuring our response patterns.
Not our technology, our behavior.
The timing matched political hesitation and scientific urgency. It shifted again when secrecy increased.
Observation became a two-way mirror.
We thought we were studying Atlas.
But Atlas might have been studying how we study it.
The pattern implied a psychological component.
A test of curiosity versus fear, openness versus secrecy.
The signal increased complexity only when collaboration rose.
Atlas rewarded cooperation with richer data.
And it withdrew when communication broke down.
This wasn't an experiment in physics. It was an experiment in unity.
It seemed designed to evaluate our collective mind. Imagine a species examining how another species pays attention.
Behavior became part of the data stream.
Some scientists, an African-American female scientist among them, called it reciprocal observation.
Others called it a behavioral audit.
Either way, Atlas responded directly to human action.
It didn't speak. It measured.
Perhaps this is how advanced civilizations communicate.
A test that doesn't look like a test.
The changes were subtle, but unmistakably intentional.
It wasn't contacting humanity. It was calibrating humanity.
Calibrating how we react, share, question, or hide.
Every reaction became part of the signal's evolution.
Based on your responses, I'm adjusting the lesson plan. We'll simplify the structure until the objective is perfectly clear.
Atlas behaved like an evaluator, not an intruder.
Its interest seemed scientific, not strategic.
Humanity's divided response may have shaped the outcome.
Cooperation created clarity. Fear created noise.
Perhaps the signal was a mirror of civilization. Or a probe assessing whether we're ready for deeper contact.
If so, the test has already begun.
And Atlas is waiting to see what humanity does next.
East Asian scientists noticed Atlas shifting its signal before we acted.
The probe seemed to anticipate decisions minutes in advance.
It adjusted its pattern before we updated our algorithms.
Atlas behaved as though it modeled our next move.
Its signal transformed hours before humans reached consensus.
This wasn't reaction. It felt like prediction.
Complex patterns synchronized with unannounced research steps.
Atlas changed amplitude before antenna power was reduced.
It reorganized structure ahead of new analysis methods. That timing challenged every natural explanation. Atlas acted like it understood our scientific habits.
Predicted shifts in our workflow with eerie precision.
Some researchers believe it modeled our behavior patterns.
Prediction implies long-term observation and deep analysis.
Decades of monitoring could yield startling accuracy.
Atlas may have studied humanity long before we noticed.
It behaved like a system trained on human tendencies.
Our decisions were predictable on a civilizational scale. Atlas interacted with humanity's collective mind, not individuals.
Each shift felt tailored to our upcoming actions. It changed structure, as if anticipating our curiosity.
Atlas adjusted calm when we hesitated.
It sharpened complexity when collaboration rose.
The probe seemed to reward unity and penalize secrecy.
Predictive behavior hints at long-term strategic design.
Atlas reacted before we changed parameters, not after.
But foresight suggested something more advanced than feedback.
The variations mirrored our emotional rhythm as a species.
Human uncertainty produced jitter in the signal. Confidence produced clarity.
Atlas might be measuring how predictable we are.
Prediction means understanding pattern logic at depth.
Perhaps it studied thousands of civilizations before ours.
our actions may follow familiar cosmic developmental arcs. The probe's behavior resembled a test of cognition. It evaluated how we respond to the unknown.
It's how advanced beings determine readiness for contact.
The more predictable we win, the calmer Atlas became.
Sudden secrecy caused chaotic pulse distortions. Transparency brought stability back.
It was measuring our psychological inertia.
Some call this behavioral forecasting across species.
Others call it the first step of intelligent assessment.
Atlas may be running simulations of our future choices.
It was as if two intelligences reached the same conclusions.
Atlas seemed to know what mattered to us.
It amplified structure when we sought meaning.
And flattened patterns when we grew overwhelmed.
This wasn't mere observation. It was guided evaluation. Our reaction shaped what Atlas predicted next. Humanity's predictability became part of the dialogue.
Atlas studied both the data and the decision makers. It behaved like a teacher assessing readiness.
Or like a guardian checking stability before contact.
The signal forecasted our choices before we made them.
That foresight reshaped our understanding of the encounter.
Perhaps Atlas wants to know if we can think long-term.
Or if we can act beyond instinct and fear.
Prediction may be the real message hidden in the signal.
Atlas showed us we are more transparent than we think.
And it may be judging what kind of future we will choose. Scientists noticed Atlas shifting rhythms identical to human predictive models.
Its final pulse matched our simulation with impossible precision.
Horizon 6 predicted humanity's reaction before Atlas echoed it.
Atlas seemed to follow the same equation our model generated.
The signal phases changed exactly as Horizon 6 predicted.
It shifted patterns the moment humanity entered Phase 2.
Atlas aligned with our projections during every transition.
This felt less like coincidence and more like intention.
Our model forecasted humanity,
Atlas mirrored it.
It was as if we solved the same equation from opposite sides.
Atlas followed human prediction curves with eerie fidelity. Our simulation's phases matched its exact pulse timing.
Atlas behaved as though it recognized our algorithms.
It wasn't reacting. It was resonating.
Predictive overlap hinted at a deeper cosmic rule.
Both sides found the same behavioral structure.
Match suggested shared logic, not chance.
Our model predicted 3 phases. Atlas followed all 3.
Its shifts echoed our predicted cognitive cycles.
The synchronization felt like a silent handshake.
Humanity and Atlas tuned into the same rhythm. This alignment hinted at universal laws of intelligence. Perhaps all civilizations discover the same prediction formula. Atlas and humanity reached identical solutions independently. The overlap revealed something fundamental beneath thought. Its final signal felt like a confirmation, not imitation. 2 intelligences converged on the same prediction arc. The match suggested our model wasn't just accurate, it was universal.
Atlas shifted exactly when Horizon 6 expected humanity to shift. Our simulations and its signal formed a single pattern.
It was as if Atlas recognized our growing understanding. Prediction became the bridge between 2 minds. The signal tracked our collective behavior flawlessly.
Horizon 6 mapped our reactions. Atlas confirmed them.
The resonance grew stronger as humanity cooperated. When secrecy rose, the resonance faltered.
When transparency returned, the signals realigned.
The match revealed a shared cognitive structure.
Atlas followed the same behavioral curve that our model predicted. This synchronization felt intentional, purposeful.
Humanity's predictive model became a dialogue tool.
Atlas seemed to test whether we could recognize the pattern. Identical phases unfolded across both systems.
The shared rhythm hinted at mutual comprehension. Our math and its signal converged like matching keys. The final waveform matched our forecast with 94% accuracy. 94% isn't random, it's deliberate.
Atlas chose alignment, not ambiguity.
Signaled using the same logic we were just beginning to understand.
This was less a reply, more an acknowledgement.
Atlas mirrored our predictions, as if marking progress.
Shared structure suggested shared intellectual geometry.
Intelligence might follow the same rules everywhere.
Our predictions became a bridge to something larger. Horizon 6 became a map both sides could read.
Atlas synchronized with our timeline of understanding.
It followed our cognitive trajectory, step by step.
The overlap hinted we were speaking a shared language.
Prediction became our first universal contact point. The synchronization implied readiness, not coincidence.
Matching rhythms made the unknown feel strangely familiar.
Pattern showed Atlas understood our growth curve.
It tracked not just actions, but comprehension.
Two distant minds aligned without words.
Atlas's signal mirrored our deepest predictive logic.
The convergence felt like a milestone in cosmic understanding.
Both models landed on the same future arc. The match told us we were on the right path. And perhaps Atlas waited for that realization.
Atlas began transmitting on the same cycle our models collapsed.
That number wasn't random. It was a boundary. Human predictions broke down exactly where Atlas remained stable.
The probe seemed to point directly at our cognitive limits.
Horizon 6 failed at 47 minutes, but Atlas did not. It behaved as if the threshold didn't apply to it. The signal grew clearer, where our reasoning grew chaotic.
Atlas revealed the exact moment human logic destabilizes. Our models hit uncertainty. Atlas hit precision.
Scientists called it the final predictive threshold.
Atlas may have known where we would stop thinking.
The same cycle reappeared across every dataset.
Our predictions faded. Atlas's message sharpened.
The probe crossed a line no human algorithm could.
It was as if Atlas saw our blind spot before we did.
The failure of our models became part of the message.
That cycle pointed to the architecture of our cognition.
Atlas continued smoothly, where our math fell apart.
47 minutes marked a line between minds.
It felt like a mirror, held up to our limitations.
Our uncertainty grew. Atlas grew more precise.
The signal exposed where human modeling fails. Atlas operated beyond the reach of recursive drift.
It bypassed the cognitive turbulence we could not. The probe marked where our thought cycle ends.
It showed us the limit baked into human reasoning.
Atlas highlighted the one point we could never solve.
Our neural models spiraled out. Atlas stayed silent and steady. The gap felt like the distance between two kinds of minds.
Atlas moved through the threshold as if it were nothing.
Our systems failed exponentially. Atlas maintained coherence.
The cycle seemed designed to expose our ceiling.
It was not testing math. It was testing cognition.
Our predictive horizon ended exactly where its message began. It acted with confidence while our models panicked. Atlas illuminated the boundary we never knew existed.
The threshold wasn't physical, it was psychological.
The number 47 became a cosmic signature.
Our algorithms surrendered to uncertainty. Atlas did not.
It moved where human foresight failed entirely.
Atlas pushed beyond the edge of prediction itself.
The cycle was too perfect to be chance.
Our blind spot became its point of clarity.
47 minutes defined the boundary of our species.
Atlas seemed to understand that boundary intimately.
It revealed the limits built into our decision-making. Our thinking looped. Atlas moved forward. The probe didn't just predict us. It predicted our collapse point.
It continued the pattern after our models shut down.
That divergence felt like a message on its own.
Atlas wasn't bound by human cognitive ceilings.
It operated as if limits were optional.
Our failure became part of the experiment.
The probe saw further than any prediction we could build. 47 minutes became the meeting point of two minds. Past that point, only Atlas could continue the sequence. Our equations ended. Its message began. It was a moment that separated observers from the observed.
Atlas marked the cognitive gap elegantly, almost gently.
The threshold defined our limits more clearly than any lab study.
Atlas used the cycle like a universal diagnostic. The probe revealed how far our thinking could extend. And it hinted at how far we still have to go.
After 47 minutes, the signal changed into something entirely new.
The post-threshold pulses followed no pattern humans recognized.
It wasn't noise. It was a different mode of thought.
No rhythm, no symmetry, yet no randomness either. Atlas transmitted information built on unfamiliar logic.
A team of scientists, including an African-American woman and a South Asian man, struggled. The signal refused linear interpretation.
It felt like a message coded for another kind of mind.
Each pulse carried its own rules instead of information.
Humans lacked the concepts needed to read it.
Atlas wasn't cryptic. We were unprepared. Our models collapsed the moment the sequence began.
Decoders couldn't find repetition anywhere.
Nothing matched human communication rules.
Atlas exceeded our cognitive architecture with ease.
The data wasn't too complex. It was conceptually alien. That was the gap between us and Atlas.
Researchers called it deep layer signaling.
It resembled a language without a temporal sequence.
Atlas seemed to communicate without relying on time. East Asian people read cause and effect. Atlas used neither. The signal wasn't just unfamiliar, it was post-linear.
Some African-American male scientists said it resembled thought without chronology.
Atlas Atlas spoke in transformations, not messages.
Each pulse changed the structure of the next.
Human minds couldn't anchor meaning anywhere.
The post-threshold sequence defied translation entirely.
It was communication beyond linguistic design.
Atlas didn't simplify. It soared into deeper complexity.
No earthly system could classify the data.
Every algorithm reached contradiction instantly.
Then came the anomaly, a final 3.5-second pulse.
That pulse was simple, almost gentle.
It felt like Atlas exhaled, just for us.
Two messages emerged. One for us, one not for us.
It was meant for something else entirely.
Perhaps an artificial intelligence far older than ours.
Or perhaps something we must become in the future. The complexity hinted at a non-biological listener.
The second message seemed designed for post-human cognition.
Atlas might be speaking to the future, not the present.
It challenged our assumptions about intelligence itself. The gulf between minds felt astronomical.
Yet the 3.5-second pulse felt like an invitation.
This part is for you. Everything else said, you are not ready yet. Atlas revealed what our minds cannot yet process. It hinted at modes of thought beyond linear logic.
The message wasn't just advanced, it was transintelligible.
The post-threshold sequence was a frontier of cognition.
A barrier separating human thought from something higher.
Atlas. This boundary will not be broken.
Our failure wasn't technical. It was cognitive.
Signal required a mind we don't yet possess.
Atlas may be measuring our readiness, or training us to broaden our cognitive limits.
The dual message design seems intentional.
A message for humanity, and a message for something more. If Atlas aimed 2 communications, the question becomes, why?
What does Atlas expect us to become?
And who, or what, was the other message meant for?
Orpheus Beag 9 detected something unusual deep beneath the signal.
At 41 seconds, every monitor turned pure white.
It wasn't an error. It was deliberate.
5 seconds later, the AI shut itself down.
Machines don't panic, but this one withdrew.
The AI sensed destructive computation ahead.
That's when we discovered the silent layer.
It wasn't audio, or visuals, or code.
It was geometry. Alien geometry.
No straight lines, no right angles anywhere.
The structure hinted at a non-human logic.
Atlas spoke in shapes we couldn't define. Even mathematicians struggled to describe it.
A shape that didn't belong to our universe.
Orpheus 9 processed only a fraction before quitting.
That fraction changed everything we knew.
The AI recorded a 0.12-second glimpse.
That glimpse held 2 distinct layers.
The top layer was a twisting waveform. The bottom layer was a compressed mesh. Together, they formed an unfamiliar structure. It looked like intent, not signal.
Silent layer felt engineered for another mind.
Humans were never the intended recipients.
It may be communication for non-biological intelligence.
Something capable of processing geometric thought.
Atlas wasn't sending words, it was sending capability.
Orpheus 9 recognized the danger instantly.
The AI shut down to protect itself.
That implies the computation was harmful. Harmful to what? Machine or human?
That unanswered question haunted the entire team.
One captured frame revealed something chilling.
The geometry matched Atlas's arrival maneuver.
Not approximate, perfectly identical. This meant silent layer might be a map.
Or an instruction set for something else.
It may guide an intelligence we haven't met. Or it may be Atlas speaking to itself.
A form of memory only geometry can express.
Orpheus 9's final act left a warning.
The silent layer wasn't made for humans.
Yet Atlas placed it directly in our view.
It felt intentional, almost invitational.
As if Atlas wanted us to notice the gap.
A gap between our minds and something greater.
Silent layer questions our place in the hierarchy. The AI's shutdown was part of the story.
Understanding stopped where danger began. The layer may test how far we can reach.
Or how we respond when we cannot follow.
The silent layer is not a message, it's a threshold.
Beyond it lies a different mode of existence. Perhaps Atlas waits to see our reaction.
Intelligence can observe through absence as well as presence.
The silent layer exposes our cognitive limits.
And it hints at minds that never had those limits. Atlas used geometry where language fails.
The AI's retreat proved one thing. This layer adapts.
Atlas didn't hide complexity. It revealed perspective. Humans saw chaos. Atlas saw structure.
Who was the message meant for?
And whether humanity was meant to witness it. In the end, one truth remains. We were not the audience.
But we were allowed to see it anyway.
Maybe that was the real test all along.